Business owners are waiting with bated breath ahead of tomorrow's budget speech in the hope of clarity on how government plans to work with the private sector to create jobs. Joining us now to outline what owners of small and medium enterprises wish to hear from Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is the Chief Risk Officer at SME business enabler Lulalend, Garth Rossiter. Garth, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. So just what do you want to hear when the Minister speaks in under 24 hours?
Hi, Tim. It's a very good question. What we want to hear and what we will hear are probably two very different things. Basically, what we've always said, and we've been saying this for a few years, is what businesses want is government to be creating an enabling environment. And that doesn't mean getting involved in business. It means doing the things that government needs to do to allow business to operate. Small business and government are really aligned in terms of what they want to achieve. Small business wants profit, and government needs the profit in order to increase taxes. So in order to increase that profitability, what they need is an enabling environment, which to us would mean world-class infrastructure. It would mean keeping the lights on, so that would be Eskom. It would be a focus on transport, so people can get their goods around the country, and effectively also focusing on crime and corruption and allocating funds towards that. But to be honest, I think anything that would put money in the back pocket of a small business owner, they'd enjoy as well.
It's always curious, isn't it, Garth, that when government does speak about SMEs, there's a great focus on how they are supposed to be, at least in theory, the main drivers of employment in this country going forward, yet they still deal with a lot of the same issues, from red tape to late payments, even when doing business with the state. Is government walking the talk, I wonder, on SMEs?
No, I don't think they are. I mean, we've said for the last couple of budgets that they always say the right things, and I don't think it's overly complex. Businesses don't need government to be involved in their business. They just need to have an environment where they have less of that red tape, less of the regulatory burden, in order to operate. I mean, our SME owners, our entrepreneurs in South Africa are incredibly, versatile. I mean, they've been through COVID, they've been through a pandemic where they've managed to stay afloat, and they've found ways around not being able to trade. They need to be able to trade. They need to be able to hear what the government's going to do about vaccine rollouts and making sure that happens so that the trading opens. And I think that's what's important. That's the sort of thing they want to see rather than just hear.
And I mentioned red tape. In the State of the Nation address, President Cyril Ramaphosa did say that there'd now be this team set up to look at removing red tape to allow business in this country to flourish. How much of a boost do you think that is, especially for SMEs?
Yeah. Look, I think it's a great boost. I mean, as I said, all the right things are being said. I think the issue is actually seeing what happens, because you can set up committee after committee after committee to debate how things should work. But as I said, it's not overly complex. Government almost needs to withdraw themselves and just create an environment where businesses can trade. And that's what I think the businesses want to see. Everyone wants to be profitable. Government wants to see businesses be profitable so that they can increase their tax revenue. And I think that's what needs to happen. So, look, it's all great. It's great that the talk is there about removing the red tape and the burdens. But what we find as well with these small businesses is it's not all about red tape. I mean, obviously, red tape and removing the regulatory hurdles is important. But what's quite important is giving businesses access to the funding they need. Because a lot of businesses just need that to take the next step up and to progress.
So business wants to make a profit. Workers who are employed by business say it's been about 2 years of either no increase or very little as far as increases and then retrenchments as well. How much longer do you think it'll be until we're able to see workers seeing the increases that they want from business?
Yeah, I think to be honest, given our unemployment state in the country at the moment, I think increases are probably a fair way off. I think what's important is increasing employment, and I think that can only be done through the small business sector. I think that's what's really important. I mean, get people employed first, and then look at increasing the wages of those who are employed already.
Critics of that say, what good then overall generally is employment if the people who are getting employed earn so little that they end up in debt anyway, and their circumstances are either very improved quite little or not improved at all? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very contentious issue, I suppose. From my perspective, I mean, the focus for me would be allowing, as I said, businesses to start trading, SMEs to trade easily, create that employment, which gives them the ability to grow and increase wages. So it's, I think, obviously, you've got to have a very good control over abusing workers. I mean, obviously, you've got to have structures in place to ensure that minimum criteria and wages are set, which they've done. But I think what's important is really getting people employed and allowing businesses to grow and get profitable so that they can increase those wages. That's where the focus should be, in my opinion.
How nervous, Garth, is business about a possible resurgence further down the line, another wave of COVID-19 that may result in the more stricter lockdowns of 2020 and 2021?
Look, I think how nervous they are, it's a good question. Our experience is that they just want to trade. So I think they trade through any kind of new wave if they had the option. But I think the general consensus is that the worst is behind us. But obviously, we've got to go through the process and ensure the population is vaccinated and ensure we're making steps towards becoming properly open again. But yeah, it's difficult to say what the consensus is at the moment.
Garth Rossiter, good to speak to you. Garth is with Lulalend.